out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Racers Elite Nextgen series here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tonight, it's nice and cool out of it. Nice 69 degrees ambient temp with an 81 degree track temperature, which means these things are going to be ripped up, and ready to run. And certainly somebody wants to finish in the top spot, first place, in the season finale here for the Racers Elite Nextgen series. My name is Jordan Brockel. I'm joined in the booth tonight, none other than Colin. Colin, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I'm looking forward to this race.
Absolutely, and you know the Racers Elite Series, no matter where we're at, puts on one heck of a show each and every week, and you know this should not be any, this should not be any kind of disappointment whatsoever. As we'll take a peek here. Ed Jurgen out, just finished his qualifying time, set a 30.65, second on the grid right now, trying to run down Brandon Honeycutt right now at a 30.57. So Brandon Honeycutt doing what he's done all year long, finding himself to the front, just not able to fully put together, a full entire race to get that win, but certainly been a handful for these guys this entire season.
I've driven with a handful of them on track, and everybody out here, everyone's got pace, and raced respectfully. So I'm looking forward to this being anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, and you know, each and every time we load up in this sim, it's anyone's game. I mean, we've seen guys who have had struggles throughout the season break through and get to a win. We're gonna go ahead and bring up Truth Hope, take a peek at what he's running right now. And you know, each and every week we see these guys come in here. Each and every one of these guys are pure-blooded racers, and I mean, it's a ton of fun to watch. And even if they're not in the running for you know, the championship or you know, anything significant, they still come out and they still run hard and they still try to find, you know, every little piece of something. As Truth Hope goes for a slide right there. You got another one there.
A little bit more than he wanted.
Yeah, but I mean, right now he's sitting fourth on the board. So I mean, even though that lap basically threw away his run, he might be able to reset and get another one. I believe he can head off here and still get that run. I'm not 100% sure. It might give him the checkered when he comes back around. I can't remember how that works. But nonetheless, I mean, it's still a nice fourth place on the grid. Let's see, Lee Campbell's out now. Just finished his first lap with a 31.07. And you know, Brendan Wilcox is sitting in sixth and certainly got to be feeling good tonight because, I mean, he's basically wrapped up this championship here. I mean, we don't have enough cars for him to fall that far back in points, so I don't think he can be caught by Andrew Teft, but certainly has put on a spectacle this year. 2 wins. The only man with more wins this season would be Matt Schlosser, who has missed a good bit of races. So, I mean, if Matt Schlosser would have showed up, you know, 4 more races, he would have been a no doubt champion. Because I know a few weeks ago, you know, one of the races we were at, he was without a doubt, you know, far ahead of everybody, and he just disappeared. And you know, it's one of those things that missing one race can completely derail a season. I mean, we've seen that. And you know, I know he got a waiver and he has a win, but Kyle Larson in the IRL, had he not, you know, had this been the old point system and not gotten any points for that race, you know, it would have been detrimental to him making it to the, you know, whatever, you know, to the championship, just because he wouldn't have had the points to get him there because he's a whole race behind.
Yeah. There's a part of me that likes the old scoring system. You know, it really incentivizes just showing up and doing the best you can.
Yeah, and I mean, I think my biggest moment of where I was just like, yeah, I don't know about this playoff system, was the year that Denny and Harvick both had 9 wins on the season and were not crowned champion. That's where I kind of lost it. I mean, I still enjoy it. It makes it interesting through all 36 races, but I mean, that year specifically, I mean, it should have been between Harvick and Hamlin, and I mean, I don't even think those 2 made it to the final 4, if I remember correctly. And it's just like, you know, there's a page I follow that does all the Winston Cup points, like converts all the races into Winston Cup points, and to see the difference in champions along that points scale is absolutely insane. I mean, it had Jimmy only winning like 4 championships or something like that, and Jeff would have gotten, I think Jeff's would have been 6 with a very close almost 7, and you know, it would have shaked a lot of things up in NASCAR history had they stuck to the original point system that they were running for the Winston Cup Series.
Right. So I can respect the desire to make things exciting throughout the whole course of the season. You know, having it come down to that last race, kind of no matter what. But at the same time, a race like this, the championship's wrapped up, but everybody's out here to give it everything they got. So it's still going to be a great race to watch. It's
Oh,
not
100%.
it's not going to be boring on track just because the championship might be wrapped up.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I love about this league is they'll put it out there on the line each and every week, regardless of what they're fighting for. I mean they're just like natural racers; they just want to win, and I mean it's fun to watch. So these guys are gridding up, just waiting on two guys to grid up, and then they'll start rolling. But while we wait, I'm gonna go ahead and go through this starting order. You're gonna have the point man of Brandon Honeycutt starting in the number 1 position, followed by Ed Jurgen. Dennis Kane and Truth Hope round out row 2. Row 3 is going to be Paul Shaw and Andrew Teft. Row 4 is going to be Brendan Wilcox, our more than likely champion of this Next Gen series. And to his outside is going to be Lee Campbell. William Skinner and Matt Vettler going to start 9th and 10th. Alex Teft and Troy Thomas going to start in row number 6. And rounding out our field in the 13th position, lucky number 13, it's going to be Noah Hamilton. So certainly a lot of position for some of these guys to make their march up front, but I look for Alex Teft had a good strong showing last couple of weeks, and I look for him to possibly find his way up to the front. And then Brendan Wilcox is always going to be there as well as Andrew Teft as well. So it's all going to be if they can get to Ed Jurgen, because Ed Jurgen's been super fast as well. So, I mean, I think we have a massive group of racers here tonight that could certainly put on a massive show that's going to be absolutely electric.
I think it could be anyone's night tonight.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Brandon Honeycutt's been fast. Jurgen's been fast. Kane has been fast. Hoke has always shown his never quit attitude. Paul Shaw, he's one of those guys that finds his way into some different little areas that you normally wouldn't see him. And Andrew Teft, one of the baddest men in this series, and he's the big chief in this series too as well. So I mean he runs Xfinity, Truck, and the Cup Series or Next Gen Series. So he was in the playoffs for each and every one. And these guys are going to roll into that restart box. They're going to get ready to go. Green flags in the air. We're racing here at Atlanta for the season finale of the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. You can see Honeycutt already making a nice, smooth, not necessarily slide job, but definitely getting in line there. And taking command as Jurgen's under fire from Kane already.
Looks like everyone's just kind of trying to link up with somebody.
Yeah, and what I love is that they're running on the old Atlanta, which is not the same as what we have now, where we have what I like to call Atlanta Dega. I mean, it's basically racing, Talladega. Just they moved Talladega from Alabama to Atlanta.
A bit smaller, and to me, running it was a little bit more nerve-wracking than running Talladega.
Oh, 100%. Brendan Wilcox going to set fast time at a 31:13. But, Dennis Kane going to slide up, almost grab him a little bit there. Back out front, Ed Jurgen has gotten by, and I see Honeycutt. Honeycutt's falling fast.
On back.
Not sure what happened there. See if we can take a look back here, see what happened. He's already behind Wilcox here. See if we can get a little bit better of an angle to see what transpired for him to fall back so fast. See right here, Wilcox or Honeycutt doesn't seem to have any issues, and he just looks like he just started to lose some positions here. He had Dennis Kane come up on him. Hope got by, and it just lost positions. I thought maybe he had some kind of issue.
I wonder if that's just strategy on fuel or tire wear.
And I mean, it certainly well could be. Two of the biggest, guys that have some of the best strategy are arguably Honeycutt and Andrew Teft. And I'll tell you now, Andrew Teft can somehow save every, ounce and every liter of fuel while still running fast. I just don't understand how he's able to commit to running fast, but still finds ways to save every little bit that he possibly can.
Some people are just masters of that art.
And I, for one, am not one of those. I barely know how to make it through half a race, and sometimes I don't even get to technically start the race. My Monday truck league guy spun coming out of turn 4 and blew it up before even crossing the line to finish the first lap. So I got 3/4 of a lap in and was done on the hauler.
Ah, jeez. Yeah, that's never what you want when you show up.
Yeah, no, certainly, especially when you run 1 or 2 leagues a week, and you're out that fast, you're just like, now what do I do?
Right.
It's like I was prepared to sit in this chair and make my butt go numb for about an hour and a half, and now I actually have to do something.
I have to go do chores.
I gotta go do something. I can't just sit here.
A little back and forth between Dennis Kane and Truth Hoke.
Yeah, side by side through 3 and 4 now. Dennis Kane down low, and Hoke has that outside line, and Hoke has shown how strong that outside line can be just about every track we go to. I mean, you can see right here, he's still on that rear quarter of Dennis Kane, and if he can get a little bit like that, like I was about to say, if he can pull a little bit of a side draft, take the air off of him, he can cause Kane some issues down there on the bottom, and he does. He clears him coming out of 2, going down the backstretch.
Great clean battle between them.
Back up front, you got 3 cars under a blanket for that top position here. It's never one of those things you want to see in your rear view mirror. Is 2 guys really close, and definitely, I mean, looking like they were trying to get to a point where they could split. Well, I guess I should say reverse split Ed Jurgen, and both of them go around him, one on the outside, one on the inside, and certainly it's one of those things that you just look in the mirror and go, and you just kind of pray to the racing guys, like, can we just not?
Well, there's a lot long race ahead of us yet.
Dennis Kane and Truth Hoke certainly fighting once again.
Yeah, and they really moved their way up to that lead pack.
Yeah, and I mean, Truth Hoke's showing that outside line is super strong, and Kane really trying to make that bottom work. And I mean, he gets the good run, the good drive in, and wraps the corner well. It's just those times where, Hoke gets to that quarter and kind of throws that car's weight off. He's got to reset. Oh, big slide by Alex Teff back there. That's really easy to do, I noticed, in these next-gen cars, is they get weightless very easily. So if you got a little bit too much wheel in it, you end up kind of raising the rear end and sliding a lot easier than, say, the Gen 6 or even the car of tomorrow.
I found the next gen to be a little bit easier to lose just because the inputs are so light. force feedback wheel. I've come to find that the Nextgen car just, it feels like it has the most power assist for steering or something.
Yeah.
So
I've learned if a track's got, so me being in the Maryland area, I'm very big on going to Dover every year, and that you might know that Dover has that little bit of a hill before it kind of goes into that turn one, and
yes,
it's just like a little it's like it falls off, and it just noses down, and I've noticed in this car that it almost kind of feels like the suspension unloads and then it pushes itself back down to the ground, and you just gotta know how to drive to be able to hang on to it for the entirety of a race there.
Yeah, there's certain spots on some tracks where it's just, if you know it's there, but after 50 or 100 laps, it might catch you out.
Take a little peek back here. Brendan Wilcox, Andrew Teft, and Truth Hope all within, just about a tenth of a second, 0.2 of a second, and Dennis Kane really trying to pull those guys in too, to put his name in this little bit of a hat. Oh, a little bit of a slide there from Wilcox. Kane's going to find his way up there now with a little bit of a shuffle there from Wilcox, having to cause Hope to check up just a touch. Ooh, Dennis Kane slides up, gives a tap to Truth Hope. That could have been ugly.
Good job keeping a handle on that one.
Yeah, that was an amazing save to that. Let's see if this is where it was. I might be wrong. Nope, this should be it, I think. They passed each other so much, the notifications aren't that great at telling me where they are.
Sure.
It's one of those things you just got to kind of figure it out as you go. But certainly Dennis Kane, heck of a save there. And he's going to basically track these guys back down as Wilcox is there to the inside of Andrew Teft. And, this is going to bring in Hoke and Dennis Kane to this side-by-side battle. And it's only going to be better for Ed Yergin as he sits there and watches all of these guys mix and match and shuffle and basically hold each other up. He's going to make his gap even larger to those cars behind him as Kane looks to the inside of Wilcox to the inside of Hoke for a second there. It looks like Wilcox's machine is either kind of fading just a touch, or he's having a little bit of difficulty with the handling there.
Up to that high side, just wears out the tires.
Kane slides again. Whoo-wee. That's certainly not fun, especially if you're as anxious and oh, what?
Oh no!
Whew, I do not know what happened to Hoke there at all. I don't know what happened there. Oh, I just got loose on him.
Wow.
Oh, and amazing that Brendan Wilcox didn't take him with him there. We'll pop on board on the roof cam for Brendan Wilcox. You see Hope goes to he's into the inside of Andrew Teft, gets loose, gets air, and just barely squeezes through there. It's not something you want to see, certainly.
That's a moment when you're just hoping you don't feel that whack on the left rear.
Oh, 100%, because you see him sliding and you're just looking there like, this might be dangerous. "24 laps of 105 in the books. We're going to go ahead and step aside for just a quick moment, pay some bills, and show off some fancy new stuff, and we'll be right back. Back here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Racers Elite Nextgen Cup Series. Lee Campbell sitting in fourth as we ride along right now. Dennis Kane just a bit behind, still fighting on the inside of some of these cars, really trying to make some headway and get back to where he was. Lee Campbell found his way up pretty quickly too as well. And right now the man in charge, he's got about a 2-second lead over Andrew Teft. You look out back right here right now. You can see that gap is massive. Everybody else from second on back to about 7th. I want to say about 7th. Yeah, 7th is all within a 0.3 of a second of each other, fighting for that second place position here. And certainly, we're going to be coming up on pit stops relatively soon. It's going to be a game of who jumps first. In that decision here as Lee Campbell looks to the inside of Brendan Wilcox for just a moment.
Yeah, if you're Ed Jurgen, you loved watching 3 cars battle it out behind you, knowing that it was going to slow down the whole field.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, my famous saying is it's music to his eyes. He can't hear them, but he can certainly see them. Now we've got a 3-wide run here. Honeycutt trying to split Wilcox and Campbell, and he does just that and moves into that 3rd place position with relative ease.
Makes you wonder if Honeycutt was falling back early just to save tires.
Oh, definitely. I certainly think that was a part of it. And like I said, I mean, he's been one of the top guys as far as it goes. With saving and knowing and understanding his car, and the only thing is he kind of relies on the other drivers to be able to hold in that leader, and if those drivers aren't able to hold in that leader, it takes him a good bit to get back to that leader, and by then we're starting the process over again where he needs to save his stuff, but I think he's always just right there. It just hasn't come together for him.
Wonder how much longer he'll be able to extend this stint before making a stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be interesting. I'm not entirely sure what the fuel load is for a track like Atlanta this time around. But I want to imagine it's probably going to be around 35 to 40 laps, maybe 45. With getting not quite to that halfway mark, so it'd be like 45, 90 with a little bit of a splash towards the end of that last run. I'd like to see if somebody could try to stretch at 250.
Noah Hamilton, Matt Metler, Alex Teft, Paul Shaw in a little 4-car battle. Oh, Matt Metler just rushing.
Matt Metler, one of our famed men over here at SRM. And we certainly love to give him a little bit of crap here and there. And he said it says beast mode, but I'm wondering when it will actually turn into beast mode there, Metler. But certainly it's fun to watch our guys come out here and run a little bit with some of these leagues that we work with. As Brendan Wilcox is under fire, or actually I believe he just got around Andrew Teft.
Yep.
So Wilcox looking to run down Honeycutt now, as Teft is still right under
that lead down.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying is, Honeycutt's good at saving his stuff enough to get to that driver towards the end of a run. You can hear him pedal it. That just shows you how unstable these cars are. Just having to try to carry and balance out how much throttle you can put in before you may be too early. As it looks like Ed Jurgen's going to come down pit road now. I did say around lap 35, so Ed Jurgen in now on lap 35 as the pylon gets in our way there for that camera shot. So Jurgen in now, and I think that's going to force the hand of some of these other guys right here behind him to come down early as well.
I think that was a great decision, knowing that gap behind you was closing. Seems like a great time to dive down pit lane.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, you see you're losing, so he's going to get there at some point. Why not try to switch it up on him? Because now the longer he stays out, you're going to make up time on him. Dennis Kane and Noah Hamilton find their way in pit road now too, so forcing some guys to kind of think a little differently here. Lee Campbell looking to the inside of Andrew Teft here. And, I've got to say, Lee Campbell's really put on a good race so far here. Just 38 laps into 105. And, but he's certainly showing that he's got some stuff here tonight and understands where he's running and what he's doing.
Everybody out here tonight really has some solid pace. A few mistakes have definitely spread out the field, but I think with pit stops happening now, this field could really change up all over again.
Yeah, and you can see Andrew Teft coming down pit road now, getting his service, and that pylon once again in the way. Truth Hope coming down as well, just a bit behind him. So now we're going to see and kind of sit and wait and see what Honeycutt decides, because certainly he's got to be getting close.
Definitely. You don't want to run too much of a risk.
Yeah, and also with him saving like he was, he'll probably go a couple more, and then he'll come back down around lap 80 or so, and then have like a 25 lap shootout to the end of the race for himself. I'm no expertise on strategy, but I certainly think that could be along the lines of what he's thinking.
Well, especially with this being old Atlanta, having those fresh tires at the end could be great if you just go for a splash and right side tires.
Yeah, and it could also be one of those where he could short pit it, get to roughly say 65, 70, short pit,
sure,
run 35 to the end, so then everybody else would come down around that lap 80 mark. So, Ed Jurgen's definitely on that path, in my opinion. He came down lap 35, so another 35 would put him in that lap 70 area. So he'd run 3 35 lap segments. As he splits Lee Campbell and William Skinner there, setting his eyes on Brendan Wilcox. Currently a lap down still, though. So he's going to try to get his lap back the hard way. As Brandon Honeycutt's still riding out here. Gone 42, about to be 40, or he's gone 41, about to be 42 laps. And
I'm a little bit surprised to still see him out here.
Yeah, me too. And it's an interesting strategy, and like I said, he could be trying to pull that short pit strategy, so that he has fresh tires and then runs them to death, and then has fresh tires and runs it a little lighter for 35 laps instead of 40 or 45.
Right.
He's gonna come around. He's gonna get to 43 here this time. This is interesting because as soon as he pits, Ed Jurgen's going to be flying by him as he's on the exit route.
Yeah, no question. I don't even know if he's going to be on the exit road by the time Ed Jurgen arrests him.
Yeah, I mean, he could find himself.
Oh, but the yellow is out.
Oh my gosh, that is going to. Ed Jurgen's
right
going to
into
have
Honeycutt's
to. Yeah.
hand.
Ed Jurgen's going to have to, take a lucky dog lap, but Honeycutt getting that lucky free pit stop here, and it looks like it's going to work out for Brendan Wilcox, William Skinner, Lee Campbell, and there's our man with the issue of Matt Mettler. Take a peek and see what happened to him here. Oh, I don't know what happened there. That, I mean, he collected Alex Teft and everything.
Wow.
Take another peek at that. Not entirely sure what happened to old Matty boy there. Oh, it looks like it turns hard to the...
Looks like he started to lose the
right.
rear and then just overcorrected a little bit.
And that's what I was saying about these cars. Is like once it starts to go and you... Oh, he didn't even move.
That was just understeer.
But the thing is like you can see the car shoots to the right weirdly. Like you can see he's got left wheel, and it just like moves to the right.
Was that just a matter of cold tires coming off the pit road?
I wonder, I mean, this sounds crazy, but I wonder if it's just an excessive net code. I don't know. That's a freaky movement for these cars without a doubt, because that doesn't make a ton of sense. I can't get my brain to make a good concept of what the heck just happened there. But either way, it works out for Honeycutt to an absolute perfection. Because
Suddenly Honeycutt's on the fresher tires.
In charge of the entire field. And
Yep.
I mean these guys are gonna wave around, they all just came down. They're gonna wave around, get their lap back, and then you're gonna see, Honeycutt, Wilcox, Skinner, and Campbell all on fresh stuff. I mean, Jurgen might come down and grab some stuff. I don't see necessarily why. Let's take a peek and watch him, see if those or if the car goes up, or if he's just going to do a splash and pass.
I think under caution, I'd be at least taking right sides. You know you're going to the back of the field. You can spend as much time as you want.
There goes rights. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and get a full. He's going to get a full fuel and a full tank and 4 new fresh tires. So I mean, he's going to be a fast man. And with everybody else taking the wave around, I mean, he's going to be 5th, right behind, the guys that just pitted under this caution. So he's going to be sitting 5th with the same level of tires and everything as the front 4. So while everybody goes ahead and gets their lap back and gets ready to go, we're going to step aside one more time, take a little bit of a break here, and be back with more action here for the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. back here for the Racers Elite Cup Series. From Atlanta, is Brandon Honeycutt's going to sail off into turn 1. Brendan Wilcox, the lone man on the outside, simply because of just the whole wave around situation. It looked kind of like old school NASCAR where one guy was on the lead lap with all those lap downs to his inside. Isn't it crazy how that alone feels like forever ago? You know, having
So long ago.
I mean, it's still probably about, I don't know what, 15, 20 years?
It's quite a while.
But it's like, it feels like it's like something that happened in the 80s in my brain for some reason. But I wasn't even watching NASCAR in the 80s. I wasn't even a thought for the next, I don't know, 16 years. But, I mean, I just remember that from the old NASCAR Thunder games. You know, if you're a lap down, you're stuck to the inside fighting for that lead position.
Yep.
Just kind of stuck there.
Yeah, growing up on the original NASCAR heat. Was,
Yeah.
Yeah, what a time to be in racing games.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest one was I loved playing Dirt to Daytona.
Yes.
That was one
my
of my
absolute
favorites.
favorite. PlayStation 2.
Yeah, and I mean, 2004, NASCAR Thunder 2004 was one of my favorites. It's funny because that's where I learned to be a metal fan. As funny as that sounds. The NASCAR video game is where I learned about metal music. Because, I mean, I don't know if you're a metalhead or not, or if you're country rap, whatever you may be, but, like, there's bands from there that, like Sevenfold, a band called Motorgrader, which ended up being the lead, like, he's the lead singer now of Five Finger Death Punch. And it's just, like, all these different bands that I listened to on NASCAR 2004 created me being a metalhead. So, it's wild. Oh, big slide from Jurgen there. Terrifying slide. I wanted to take a peek out here out back, but it looks like he's going to get there pretty quickly to the outside of Honeycutt. Not really let us get a chance there to see if he can make the pass on him. Ed Jurgen all over the back of Honeycutt now.
Yeah, and this comes back to deciding to make that pit stop. Yep. No, no!
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
How to have the hands on that, I don't know, but certainly kept it under him. That was crazy.
He might carry some damage from that one.
Yeah, I want to take a peek, see if I can find where I want to bounce back from. I think it would be this one. Yeah, you can see him trying to just, grab the wall, grabbed Honeycutt, hits the wall again, and then tries to get just under and out of the way.
Did everything he could not to hit Honeycutt.
Yeah.
Gotta respect that. Knowing you made a mistake and trying to make sure you're the only one that it costs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sportsmanship.
I mean, me and Dave, we were on one of the Ooh, Teft with a big.
Oh no!
What in the world? Whoa. See what happened to Teft there? Maybe a little bit of the same. It just kind of moves up the track, and he's trying to hold on, drive it out, and it just gets weightless, saves it, and then bam, grabs the wall. And that sucks. But I mean, it just shows you how much goes into trying to keep these things under you. As we take a little bit more of a look here, you can see it just step out a little bit here at the end. Gets a nudge from Wilcox, which bounces him back towards the wall. And I mean, that's no one's fault there, but it certainly causes a little bit of something. But Teft already rebounding, finding his way around Wilcox once again. Hoke looking to the inside of Wilcox here. Mettler lap down to the inside of those two. looks like Ed Jurgen's just now going to start joining back here onto the pavement from pit road, and that's one of those things that
stings, man.
it stings. And certainly, I mean, Honeycutt's got to be thinking, that was his biggest target for this race so far. I mean, Skinner definitely showing some power here, trying to get to Honeycutt. But I mean, for Honeycutt right now, that's got to feel pretty good, given how much trouble he was giving you there for the moment, and how far he was able to drive ahead of all these guys early in the race.
Now the key up front now is not to get too comfortable about the fact that you're out front. Because Skinner certainly has enough pace that if you're not paying attention, he might get you.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's almost like just unintentionally you get so comfortable you forget that you're racing sometimes, and you're just kind of out there.
Yes.
Without someone challenging you, it starts to feel like you're in practice instead of the race.
Yep. Noah Hamilton just had a moment with the wall.
Yeah, and turn 2, off of turn 2 is where we've been seeing these guys have the biggest issue with sliding. Haven't really seen it through 3 and 4 a ton. I mean, we did have 1 or 2 incidents where they just kind of got a little weightless, but certainly not tapping the wall or grabbing the wall of any sorts. You see Skinner's riding that high line right up against the wall. Pretty much as far as he can, as close as he can to it. And that's one thing that I've never been able to master, is because you have to kind of go in like you're just going to go face first into the wall. And, I can never commit to it. I end up going in and I turn in, and I still find myself, a full lane off the wall.
Yep.
I just can't commit to it.
There is an art to running that high line that I certainly have never mastered.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not a great dirt racer by any means, but I feel like the fact that I have to turn so hard, to break it loose up on the high line, dirt is about the only way that I can do it, and even then I'm still slow.
Seems like Honeycutt and Kane were the two drivers I've noticed running the low line and kind of making it work. It seems like everybody else is favoring the high line.
Yeah, Dennis Kane's been pretty much a bottom feeder down there on that bottom line the entirety of the race, and he's made it work. And he's had a little struggle there. Mittler kind of shuts the door on him. You see Dennis Kane getting a little bit of a disruption air-wise with how that car reacted. And it looks like Teft and Wilcox are going at it again. Once again, they can't seem to get away from each other. And Wilcox getting loose coming off that turn sends him down to that inside line. Gonna give Teft the outside line to make a run here. Brendan Wilcox actually making that bottom work just as well as we've seen Kane make it work.
It seems like high line or low line can run just as fast if it's the line you're confident running.
Yeah, it seems more of a confidence than it is which is faster. If you're confident to run that wall and can run it the way you need to, like William Skinner has been, you can run that wall and run it fast. But if you're confident with that low line and can run that low line the way you're supposed to, like Honeycutt has, you can make that work just as well.
Good stuff for Teft. Andrew Teft, that is.
Oh, just as I bounced off of Skinner. Got a little loose there. Alex Teft finds himself up a little bit more. It looks like Andrew Teft coming down pit road here.
So we just saw Matt Mettler drag the wall again. It's one of the risks you run being up at the top side.
Yeah, and I mean, it's certainly what happens to me more times than not. Skinner's still choosing to run that high line, and just as I went to switch off of him there, oh, Honeycutt had a little bit of a slide, but it tagged the wall.
I don't know that you can get much closer to the wall than that.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I mean, again, he might have even scraped it, but certainly able to not be affected by it. But Skinner has been up there the entire run, and I mean, it's just talent to be able to run that. And I've noticed that Honeycutt's kind of racing this in I don't want to say segments, but he's kind of choosing, you know, he runs that bottom, and then all of a sudden you see him move up. He's just inside that middle lane, brings it down to that low line, and then once he gets further into this run like he was before the caution came out, you find him a lot further up against that wall.
I guess it's just a matter of as the tires go off, maybe the high line feels more comfortable.
Yeah, and it's
you can just carry that pace.
I mean, it shows the attention to detail that he has if he's able to notice something like that, where he knows that after a certain bit of time he's got to move. So we see Lee Campbell fighting on the inside of Dennis Kane, trying to take over that position there. As Dennis Kane's had struggles to get by Matt Mettler here. Lee Campbell's going to take advantage of that. Back up front, Brandon Honeycutt's got a 2, almost 3-second lead over Skinner. You can see Skinner in the distance there, just behind him. And you know, it seems like the script has flipped. It was Ed Jurgen that was able to pull this kind of lead, and now we see Honeycutt. He's the man in charge here, making it look easy.
That's a commanding lead out in front.
And I mean, from there, I mean, it goes from 3 seconds to Skinner to 4.3 seconds to Wilcox. So, I mean, you know, Skinner's still a good second and a half ahead of Wilcox, but, I mean, Honeycutt's just on a different zip code.
Like Troy Thomas and Truth Hoke trying to decide who belongs where. Oh,
it looks like Hope grabbed the wall a little bit. Yeah, Truth Hope looking to the inside here of Troy Thomas, trying to make a move. And I mean, Hope was running really good early, and I wonder if just the fact that he's on older stuff than these guys up front is what's causing him to not be up there fighting for a commanding lead. But certainly something is.
We are seeing another pit stop cycle inflow come down. I believe Andrew Teff was down there. Dennis Kane's come through. So it seems like anybody that stops now should be.
Yeah,
should be good to the end.
Should theoretically be good to the end. I mean, you're thinking that, you know, you've seen 45 is at least the max that we've seen them go so far. And certainly, I feel like Honeycutt would have been, and here comes Honeycutt. Just as I go to say something about him making these runs longer, he says, no, I don't think I'm going to. Brendan Wilcox has found his way up and by William Skinner. I don't know where that came from, but that happened at a moment's notice. See, Skinner's kind of pulled himself off the wall just a touch there, and you know, watch. Just say that. Skinner's gonna run the wall. There he goes. That's what I'm telling you, man. I say something, and then the other happens. Paul Shaw and Alex Teft making their pit stops, and I wonder if these guys are going to try to just hang out, try to get that lucky ducky caution.
It's gonna tag the wall a little bit right there.
And certainly looking at how things are right now, cycle Andrew Teft to the lead, but he has to go an extra 5 laps on this set of tires. So Wilcox, Skinner in now.
I think he can do it.
Troy Thomas still out here as our leader, but what I was saying is he would have to go 5 more laps on this set of tires than Honeycutt will on his set of tires. Honeycutt looking at, or 10 more laps. My apologies. Honeycutt's going to go to
10 laps.
Honeycutt's going to go 30 laps on this set, and Teft is going to have to go about 39. So we'll just call it 40. On this set of tires. So that's a ton. That's a lot. 10 laps is a lot.
Yeah.
And as we look right now, Andrew Teft does not have that big of a lead per se, equipment wise, over Honeycutt. I mean, he's got a second and a half ish over Honeycutt right now, and that's not 10 tires or 10 laps worth of tires. In my opinion,
knowing Honeycutt's pace earlier, it's it shouldn't be long.
Yeah, and Ed Jurgen, he's back on the lead lap, but he hasn't been down since 56, so he's one of those guys that's begging and praying for a caution to happen here soon, so that he can march his way back to where he was this entire race. Troy Thomas still out front running. I'd imagine he'd probably come down now that I've said it. This would be the time he comes down. I mean, he's about 40 laps into this run. And I called it.
Yep. Yeah, it'd be a good time.
Don't you love it? Andrew Teft out front, going to take over the lead next time by over Troy Thomas, and Honeycutt's narrowed it down to within a second. And he is a man on a mission. He sees that 98 just up there in front of him, and he can smell blood in the water. He's ready to get there. And all he's got to do is be patient.
He knows he's got the pit stop advantage. He just has to wait for it to come to him.
Exactly. I mean, he knows that car's going to fade. I mean, the only thing that could really throw him off is just the fact that you see that number of 20 laps, and it just gives you a little bit of I got to get there. Which can get you in trouble, but I mean, that's not Brandon Honeycutt. Brandon Honeycutt fully understands that he's going to get there.
Yeah, plenty of time. Yeah, with how much he's already shaped out, it could be next lap.
Yeah,
don't get the impression that Andrew Teft's gonna fight it.
Yeah, I mean, Teft might just let it, be and try to hang on to that second, because, I mean, he does have over 5 seconds over Dennis Kane, who only has 5-lap fresher tires. It's a little different than, say, 9 to 10 laps. So, I mean, that's where I see him having a fighting chance of holding on, is going to be that number 2 spot over Dennis Kane, holding on over Dennis Kane.
Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty good battle to the end of the race.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll definitely keep an eye on that. We're looking here. Wilcox finding a little bit of forward momentum to get by Paul Shaw there. I don't know why that's a fun name to say. Paul Shaw. But definitely never a shortage of names that are just fun to say. I mean, where else do you know somebody with the name Truth?
Right?
Aside from WWE being our Truth.
What a great name in Truth Hoke.
Right? It's just, where do you see that? You know, it's always fun to have those names that you never see. It's like Lawless Allen in the Xfinity series.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know how sick that is? Be like, what's your name? Lawless. Sound like some gunslinger from the West. I'm Lawless Allen.
Yeah. Quickest draw in this town.
Truth Hoke, Dennis Kane, Lee Campbell, all within about a quarter of a second to each other. And Truth Hoke and Dennis Kane have not gotten away from each other pretty much this entire race. I feel like we've watched them race side by side, fighting each other all night long, pretty much for this 4th and 5th place spot. And I mean, it's just as I
can't take too much of that grass.
I gotta stop saying things because I say things and I just ruined a good battle for us for the rest of the race.
With the way these two have found one another on track throughout the night, I think they'll manage to find each other again.
Certainly. So now looking at this for Andrew Teft, you know, Dennis Kane was only on 5-lap newer tires, but you know, you come back to Lee Campbell, who's shrunk it down to a just over 4-second lead. He's only, you know, he's got 8-lap fresher tires, and you know, Truth Hope with a big slide back there too. But you know, 8 laps is a lot more than, you know, what Andrew Teft is running, because I mean that's been roughly just short of a quarter of a run, and you know how much a car can change just in 5 laps. So
yeah, a lot changes. It's you'll find one lap you've got great pace, and the next lap you feel your tires are just not what they were the lap before.
Yeah,
I mean those are the tires you have to live with now.
Right, and I mean it's like you go from, say, like a Mini Cooper to a dump truck. Trying to drive a semi, you know, around the track.
It can feel that way at times.
I feel like that's what I expect each and every time I get into a car, just because I don't know how to save the right front. The right front is, you know, never in a happy camper when I'm behind the wheel.
Yeah. If I can manage to burn up the right rear a bit, if that's the one I'm worried about wear on, I can usually manage the car. But when I start losing the right front, I just
yeah, I start losing the right front. I'm just like, okay, that's it. I was fast for a couple of minutes.
it feels like work. It feels like so cumbersome the rest of the laps that you still have to run on that set of tires.
I almost feel like I start doing the whole like scooting in my seat, like come on, let's go.
If you could just throw your weight a little bit further, it'll get better.
Exactly. It's one of those things. It's like you're like, yeah, I'm gonna will this thing into listening to me and running faster, even though it's literally not a legitimate car. Oh man, and that's what I love about the sim.
It feels so real.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Is like that's what I love about the sim is like sometimes you forget you're in the sim. In my opinion, you're just like, oh, I'm racing a race car.
Well, and you know, we get made fun of a little bit, sim racers, for just how into this we get. But when you've got a good battle towards the end of the race, like, I don't know about you, but my heart rate, it's up there. I'm sweating. It's real life.
Oh, dude, anytime that I'm within the top 5, I can feel it in my chest. I tell my friend, I was like, my anxiety medication doesn't stand a chance against running top 5 at say Daytona. Doesn't help. And, you know, my heart's beating out of my chest, and I keep telling my buddies I want to run top 5 at Daytona with my Apple Watch on to see just how fast my heart starts beating. Because I think there's been a couple times it's like, are you on a light walk? Like, I'm not even moving.
Right. As a cyclist, I know where my heart rate can go.
Right.
And I know it gets really up there when there's a close battle, especially on a road course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my heart rate is definitely getting up there.
Yeah. Lee Campbell shrunk that gap down to just a quarter of a second to Andrew Teft. Last time we looked, it was still around 4 seconds, so that just shows you how quickly, within 3 laps, he went from 5 seconds down to about past him. Because it looks like Teft gets a big slide, and that's going to give Campbell a good shot to get by here on the backstretch, or at least set up the next turns to get by him. As he's to the inside, he's going to go low. Teft's going to stay high.
I think after that scuff with the wall, if I'm Andrew Teft, I'm gonna let Lee Campbell through, and I'm just gonna try to hang on to that 3rd place position.
Yeah, because I mean, the more that you fight with Lee Campbell here, it's going to draw Truth Hoke in. And then next thing you know, you're drawing Truth Hoke in. Dennis Kane's not that far off of Truth Hoke. So it's one of those things that you got to kind of figure out what's going to give you the best possible finishing position. And like you said, I think letting Lee Campbell get by and go is the best case scenario for him, as he can set up now to just focus on trying to hold back Truth Hoke.
Trying to keep those tires lasting as long as possible.
And, you know, for Teft's benefit, you know, he's looking out back. You know, he sees Dennis Kane just a bit behind Truth Hoke, and he's thinking to himself, you know, Kane, like, get to him and run him. You know, get to him and force him to defend against you, so I can hold on to this 3rd place spot. And unfortunately, Ed Jurgen just was never able to recover from that slap with the wall. You know, he's running in the 10th position, found his way back onto the lead lap, and just an utter, you know, sad thing to see is he was class of the field here tonight, and now he's going to finish.
If there was a driver of the day voting process for this race, I would be voting for Ed Jurgen, because he had awesome pace and did such a great job to not take anybody down with him when he got himself into trouble.
Yeah, and I mean, that alone is a massive accomplishment. I mean, me and Dave, I mean, we saw someone somehow spin from the top line of Daytona through the 2nd line while in a full, like, just, you know, a couple laps after a restart. Some guy backed off just in time, like, not even like backed off to like avoid it. It just, you know, the run happened where it did, and he slid through that hole, literally the size of a car, didn't take anybody out whatsoever, and managed to get it back on track without causing an issue. And that's one of those things, is like, it takes a lot of talent and luck.
Yeah.
So just 3 laps to go around Atlanta Motor Speedway here for Honeycutt to possibly grab his first win of this season, and it surely is would be well deserved, considering all the ups and downs that he has had throughout the season.
Yeah, he's driven a great race.
And I mean, when you look at someone like Honeycutt, with, you know, if you saw each and every race, you'd wonder like how it's not better in his situation. Something happened here. Andrew Teft was caught by Truth Hoke, and then Wilcox decided to say hasta la vista and go by both of them here. And now, if you look in his rear view, he's got Hoke and Kane right there ready to pounce.
That's not really where you want to be with 2 laps left.
No, and I mean, right now that's the best thing for him is he sees Kane to the inside of Truth Hope. It's going to be able to, maybe give him a little bit of help as the two of those guys fight each other. Might be able to hang on to fourth for a while, or it's going to be one of those things. We're on the final lap here. Brandon Honeycutt going down the backstretch.
Is he going to use his teammate Andrew Teft as a pick for Truth Hope?
And certainly that could be one of the things that happens here. Is we're going to try to bounce back and forth here. Honeycutt going to come out of turn 3 and 4, down the front stretch through the dog leg. He's going to win here at Atlanta. First win of the season. Back here to Truth Hoke and Dennis Kane to see how these guys unfold. It looks like Truth Hoke's going to get the better of him. And Truth Hoke's going to hang on there. And Andrew Teft going to hold on to that 4th place position after it looked like he was going to fall all the way down to about 5th place.
What a great battle that Dennis Kane and Truth Hoke have had over the course of that race.
Yeah, but certainly no shortage of excitement here for the racer of the number 13 machine of Brandon Honeycutt, finally getting into that winner's circle, giving it his all season long. And I mean, nothing better than to end the season on a win, and then set yourself up for the next season with you'll start the season off as the last person to win the race or win a race in the series.
Yeah. And that's what they say about a driver, is you're only as good as your last race.
Unfortunately, Honeycutt is not very much of a interview guy. And I do not see him in the chat. I do not see our man of the hour as well, Lee Campbell, in chat as well. So it looks like oh, there he is. I see Lee Campbell. We're going to go ahead and bring him up into the waiting room. We'll get him squared away. And then we're going to get Wilcox set up and straight away too.
It's all the same to you. I'm going to let you handle the interviews tonight.
Absolutely. No problem to me. Lee Campbell, it's Jordan and Colin up in the booth. You got a copy, brother?
Gotcha, man.
Hey, man, you had a good run here. Up 6 positions from where you started. We're able to run down through everything and find yourself in a second place finish tonight.
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, the field was pretty stout. I just kind of managed the gap and took it easy, and things just kind of fell in my way. So I'll take it.
Now, as you're sitting there running and you see some of these guys, they're on a little bit older stuff. You got to work your way up. I mean, you worked your way up pretty quickly and through plenty of racers. I know you went through Truth Hope, Dennis Kane, Andrew Teft. And, you're watching all these different lines and different strategies. And how do you just keep your wits about you to not really, focus on what others are doing as much?
Just trying to run consistent lap times, trying to hit the same line every time that you're doing on the track. I saw a lot of people running high during a lot of the race, and I kind of ran middle to low just to try to get a good shot off the corner. And towards the end of the run, it seemed to work out pretty good.
Now, I know it's not that top number 1 spot, but, finishing in second for the season finale race, that's got to do something for you heading into, the next season. Not finishing, say 10th or 11th or, towards the back, being able to finish in this podium position has definitely got to give you some of that good confidence going into, the following season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had some races this season that we're just wrapping up, and things could have went a lot different. So I think this gives us some pretty good momentum going into next season. Looking forward to switching brands and switching numbers, and I'll be in the 60 in the Subway Ford come next week. So
yeah, a little bit of old school kind of Carl Edwards 60.
Yeah, yep, yes sir.
Well, I certainly look forward to that, as I hope to be on this series next year, or next season as well. Before we send you on your way, though, is there anybody that you want to shout out and thank for this season?
Oh, absolutely. You guys for broadcasting, as always. You guys do a great job. Andrew for running the league does a fantastic job. Just all the drivers out there, I've seen other leagues. I mean, this is top notch. I mean, these guys are really good.
Yeah, that goes without any doubt. These guys are phenomenal, and I mean, each and every one of you guys certainly put on a wonderful race, an exciting race each and every week across every series that you guys have. So look forward to having some more conversations with you down the road as we work with Racers Elite across all series, and wish you luck for next season, brother.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, and I know this man is certainly ready to have a little bit of a celebration. We're going to go ahead and talk to Brendan Wilcox. Brendan Wilcox, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, man, so, you come in third, but you certainly walk away here the happiest, man, is you're going to have the championship here. And, that I see you doing burnouts and everything there at the end, parked out there by the start-finish. Dude, you've got to be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, it feels really good. I was coming into the playoffs. I made it in on points, didn't have a win, and I guess at the end of the season, just found my stride. Was able to put really good runs together, and was really consistent throughout the playoffs. So seems like a good time to figure it out, and yeah, super stoked right now.
Yeah, and we saw you. Well, I got to see you, Colin. This is one of the first couple of races he's been on with Racers Elite, but I've had the pleasure of watching you, find your way through traffic and through adversity and finding your ways into, good finishes. And here towards the end of this, I saw you split Dennis Kane, Truth Hoke, and pretty much Andrew Teft all within the same time of each other. And how do you pull stuff off like that and just know that it's it's going to go one way or the other, but have the confidence to still pull that out?
Well, those guys pitted a couple laps earlier than me. I got out of pit road. I saved a little bit. I was waiting for 10 to go. I ended up hearing the 10 to go, and then it's like, okay, now it's time to push it. And yeah, the timing just seemed to be good when I caught those guys. It was getting really late. I thought I was going to catch them at the end there, but yeah, strategy seemed to work out pretty good. Yeah, just super happy it worked out though.
Yeah, and certainly I look forward to you trying to go back to back here. iRacing may not be, quote unquote, a real thing to people who just don't understand iRacing like we do, but I mean it's certainly going to be exciting for you to run and try to get that double back-to-back championship, and certainly excited to have this first championship. But without support and stuff like that, it's really hard to do this. And so with that being said, is there anybody that you want to shout out and thank for this season?
Everyone at Racers Elite. This is my first season here. I showed up a couple races late, but throughout this entire season, everyone's raced me super clean. Everyone's been super nice to me, and it's fun to race with these guys every week. I'm actually looking to go into the Xfinity Series too, along with the Cup cars for next season. And then you guys for putting on this broadcast, and then my teammate all season, Will Skinner, him and I joined at the same time, and we both had a blast here. We had a really good time, and we look forward to next season and see what it brings.
All right, brother. Well, certainly I kind of want to try to get you over there on that truck series so I can continue to possibly have conversations with you on there. That's where I'll be. Just messing with you, man. But I certainly look forward to watching you run and go after championship number 2 and maybe even championship number 1 in that Xfinity Series. Maybe you'll be a 3-time champion by the end of next season.
I hope so. That'd be pretty sweet.
Well, all right, man. We'll let you get out of here. We'll let you get to celebrating the championship and let you have a good rest of the night, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Well, Colin, with that, that's certainly going to wrap things up here for us. Going to go over the final results here of the last race of the season for the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. Brandon Honeycutt finally breaks through and gets that first win of the season here at Atlanta. Lee Campbell pulling off second. Brendan Wilcox finishing third, grabbing that championship, looking to go and get that double. And I mean, some people may not love it, but I love watching people go for back to back and then back to back to back, and I love that. I don't care if I hate the team. Like obviously the year that the Eagles played Kansas City, back to back was not what I wanted to see at all whatsoever. But for like someone like Jimmy Johnson winning back to back to back to back championships, I'm all for it. But he's gonna set his sights. Oh, go ahead.
It can get boring from a competitor's perspective when you're struggling to beat that person, but it is certainly fun to watch the dominance.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in racing, I mean that's it's not like you're playing the same game each and every week.
Right.
Where for people who are playing football, basketball, the ways that you have to play the game is different, but you're still playing the same game as where NASCAR and every other type of racing, for that matter, is you're going to a different track that runs differently. It's not like playing on the same court. And so it's got a lot of strategy base into it. And, I look forward to him trying to make that run for number 2, possibly being a 3-time champ by the end of next year. Going to go back to finishing up this final results here. Andrew Teff going to come 4th. Truth Hope going to come 5th. Dennis Kane going to come 6th. Troy Thomas, Paul Shaw 7th and 8th. William Skinner 9th. Ed Yergin, after a dominant race, is going to finish in 10th. Alex Teft in 11th. Matt Metler in 12th. And finishing and rounding out the field in that lucky number 13 spot is going to be Noah Hamilton for tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you guys that have stayed and listened to us jibber jabber through this entire race, and we look forward to another great season with the Racers Elite across all their series. And with all of that being said, as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.